Hi everyone, it's Tess from teachwithtess.com. I'm here today in the garden again. It's another beautiful day here in the UK, and on my channel, as you well know, you will find everything you need to know about Wales English, and if it's not here yet, it will be soon. If you're a teacher, an ESL teacher, feel free to pop in and have a look at the type of stuff that goes on. There are tips for you, and if anything is not here that you'd like to see, please get hold of me. My email is below, and ask and I will get in touch with you. So today, what are we doing? Well, today, something slightly different. A lot of my referrals come back to me when they've got through their interviews saying, help, my teacher profile. My most recent video was on the teacher profile, but today I'm going to really dive deep into the teacher profile video. Now, for some of you, this is just terrifying, if you're anything like I was, because you have no idea what you're doing, you don't really know what to put in it, and also you may feel like your editing skills are not really what they need to be. Well, I'm here to let you know that that's okay. And I'm also here because I've got Danny Toner with me, who's joining me today. And Danny is a teacher at Wales English. She's also well known as being the absolute whiz with profile videos, and a lot of teachers have reached out to him and he's helped them edit their existing videos, or to give him or he's given them advice on what to do. So stay tuned and you'll be able to hear from Danny and get advice on what to do, what not to do, the sort of things he really recommends. And of course, if you'd like to reach out to him for help with your profile video, his email address and contact details are below in the description box. So anyway, let's dive in with the interview and I'll see you afterwards. Bye. Hi everyone, I've told you before that I was going to be interviewing Danny, and Danny is here today to share his amazing advice on videos for Wales English. He's done, I don't know, how many have you done now, Danny?
Around 65 videos, somewhere around 65. A lot.
Fantastic. A lot. So if you'd just like to introduce yourself and say who you are, Danny, that would be
Yeah,
great.
so my name is Danny. I have been working for Wales English now for around 18 months. I put a post up one day telling people I could help them with their videos. It's not something that I have done professionally, but I knew that some people maybe don't have the awareness of how to make a video, or maybe even the tech ability to be able to make a video. And so I offered my help to other teachers that maybe weren't the most tech savvy, to help them make their introduction video.
Fantastic. So I just thought it would be really helpful to ask a few questions that you could explain to any sort of new Wales teachers who are going, I have no idea, a bit like I did, because I reached out to you, didn't I, a few months or so ago, and saying, help, I have no idea what Wales are looking for and what parents really want to see. So I just thought it'd be really useful. So first of all, Danny, if you just want to talk us through why this video is so important.
Yeah, sure. As you know, most companies now will be asking you for some form of introduction video, whether it be during the interview process, or whether it be to advertise yourself to potential students. So a lot of people I know have maybe two introduction videos. The first introduction video will be to advertise themselves to the school. So these two, I think these two videos are very different, because the first video is maybe more of a video resume or CV, one that you're sort of talking about why the school should employ you, as opposed to why a student should choose you. So the introduction video is maybe the first thing that the school will see, and it can also be the first thing that the parents and the student will see. So a lot of the time, I think people think this is a really easy thing to do, but for a lot of people, I think it is really difficult.
It's really scary. It took me forever.
Yeah, exactly. And sitting in front of the camera and talking about yourself and self-promotion is not the easiest thing to do for people. So I think a good introduction video can change your life as a teacher. It can bring you extra bookings. It can get you a job in the first place, which can provide an income for you. So I just think it's massively important.
Yeah. So if we're talking about in particular, the video, assuming that the job at Wales English has already been given to you, and you've got, you know, when you start uploading all your documents, you're doing your teacher profile, you have to upload the video, the famous video that is seen by the parents. So in your experience, what sort of advice would you give to teachers who maybe have never done a video before? Because I think it's between 1 and 2 minutes long, isn't it? It's very short.
Yeah, it is.
So what advice, assuming I'm sitting here, I've got to sit and record myself, what advice would you give new teachers on how to make a great video for parents?
Yeah, so I think the first thing is your environment. Like for me today, I'm not in a great environment because I don't have much around me, so I'm not a great example today. But you are the perfect example, because you know you have a colourful background. You have your name behind you. You have Wales English to advertise the company. So the first thing I think is your setting. So making it as fun and as colourful as possible. I'd also say that it doesn't have to be in a classroom. I think a lot of people think, okay, I have to sit in front of the computer. It has to be very, you know, professional. I have to sit here and speak. But you know, you can use, if it's a sunny place you're in, you can use outside as a background as well. I tell a lot of teachers, if you have the space, use it. Also, I would just say a lot of people, it's very simple, but a lot of people don't smile in their videos.
Really?
And it seems such a simple thing, but when teachers send me their videos, sometimes I don't want to be rude, but I have to say, just smile. It's sort of the first step. So just make sure you smile and just be yourself, really. A lot of people tend to try and overcomplicate it, but this is just an introduction into you and why the students and why the parents should choose you.
So what sort of things, because that leads me on really nicely to the next sort of question I had for you, Danny, is what sort of things do you advise teachers to put in their profile video? What's a good thing to talk about that engages the parents and informs them in a way that's useful?
Yeah, so I'd say a lot of teachers focus for the videos. They focus around education and the education that they've had, but which is obviously great, which is a key point that you need to add in. But some people focus too much on what they've done, where they've been, what they've studied, how they studied it, how long they studied it for, which is great. But from my experience in China, I've found that not all parents speak English. Not all parents have a full grasp of the English language. Not all parents are fluent. And so sometimes it can seem as though it's just a teacher sitting at a computer talk about their life. So I think you do need to include things like hobbies, things that you like to do outside of the classroom to show what you're like as a person. Things that you like to do. Do you like to go walking? Do you like to write in your spare time? Do you have a dog, a pet? Talk about your pets, because these are all things that I think the students can relate to, and maybe even the parents can relate to. So definitely education is a huge thing to add in. Your hobbies, things you like to do, places you've been, places you've traveled to. Maybe you've been to China, and if your focus is on Chinese students, talk about China, the things you like about China, things you like about travel.
Yeah, that sounds really good. And I remember when I did mine, I also talked about my classroom and a little bit about how, or what parents and students could expect in a class if they chose me as a teacher, and I remember was one of my many.
Yes. Well, this is what I was just about to say. So the most important thing about this introduction video is showing what you're going to be like as a teacher. So for you, I remember you had all your props. For me, I never use props. But I think so many teachers have different teaching styles, and so you have to get across what type of teacher you are. So for example, you use props in your class, but for me, if I'm making a video, I might think, oh, well, I need to make my video as fun as possible. I'll use this monkey and I'll use it. But then it's sort of an inaccurate
view of what my classes will be like.
Yeah. I think
So
that's a really, really, really valuable point, actually, to part, you know, the key thing about your profile, really, isn't it? Whether it's through the brief sort of 300-word profile you write, or through the video, it's really important to project you as a person, and not pretend to be something you're not, because it
exactly.
is identified fairly quickly that you're not somebody who will use Matthew all the time, for instance.
Yeah, exactly.
Now other things. So I think that's a really helpful list of the type of things to include in your video. Is there anything that you think you could tell teachers that they definitely should not put in? Have you ever seen a video sent to you and you just thought, oh no, apart from the fact they weren't smiling enough?
Yes. Yeah, so the main thing I'd say the recurring issue with the first videos that I'm sent is just the way people speak. A lot of the time it's one of two things. It's either too fast, so they speak like they're speaking to a native, and also it can be too slow. So I think maybe too fast we can work on, but too slow, almost it seems a bit rude, maybe. Like you're speaking to someone who doesn't understand.
Yeah.
I am a great teacher. So I feel you have to find some sort of median between the two. Not too fast, like you're speaking to somebody who is a native, and not too slow, like it may come across condescending, maybe, in a way.
I totally get that. I think that's a really important point, isn't it? And I would imagine also I think most teachers are, just to be sensitive about the type of descriptions they use or photographs they upload. I mean, I know this isn't necessarily part of the video, but you can include photographs, can't you, if you can edit?
Exactly.
Which now brings me on to that question, because again, when I started doing this, my very first video I uploaded when I started at Wales, I didn't edit anything. It was hard enough for me just to press go on my phone and me going blah, 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 down to something that was short enough to be uploaded and used. So editing, what if you can't edit, what's your advice? If you can edit, what's your advice? So let's start with the idea that you can't edit.
So you can't edit. Okay. Yeah. So if you, it's not obviously essential, but the point that I will make is that you will usually, like, for example, with Wales, you will be one of 3 teachers, or around 3 teachers that the students will be offered. So if you're not editing, I guess you need to stand out still. So in your own way, you need to use props for your video. You need to be animated, because there's not going to be any animations around you, or any gimmicks. So you need to be as animated as possible. I'd say, maybe you could use your setting. You could make a little bit, you could record part of your video outside. You still use the classroom, but I think if you're not editing the video, you need to make yourself stand out as much as possible. Because obviously you may have 2 other teachers that have animated videos. They have pictures and videos of themselves outside of the classroom and things they like to do. So to stand out just in a classroom environment, speak about your education, because if you're not animating and you're not editing your video, I think your education will stand out quite a lot. The pace of your voice and how you speak will be obviously more closely watched than if you have things going on around you. So I'd say speaking at a consistent pace, not too fast, not too slow. Maybe changing your setting to stand out a little bit. If you're not going to animate, you could have, in your garden, around things that you like, maybe show your animals in the video.
Okay, that's really good advice, Annie. And I think, to get I would say, add to that, you really need to practice, don't you? Because I remember when I said I didn't edit my first one, the first time I tried to get everything I wanted in, it was about 4 minutes long. I was going, and so I re-recorded myself, I don't know, 5, 6, 7 times before I got it really brief. And it was so stressful.
Yeah.
And then I found you.
Mm-hmm.
And I said, Daddy, can you edit
I'll
my video?
take away all that stress.
Take away all the stress. And so, and this was sort of before I started all my YouTube editing, because now I know how to edit. But if you can edit, so assuming teachers know how to edit, what sort of things do you advise? What do parents like to see in videos at Wales English?
Yeah, so again, if you're editing, then this is when we can add things in. For example, a copy of your degree or TEFL courses or any qualifications that you have. You can visually add them to your video. So I think maybe the first thing that parents are looking for is an education background. So then we can add experiences in. Also, like I said, with travel and hobbies, then you can be adding pictures and videos of your hobbies into your video. I think the thing that makes the video and merges everything together is some background music. But the thing you need to be careful with background music is copyright. So what I did, all of my music I use in my videos, I get copyright free. So that's just an important thing that teachers need to be careful with, because a lot of the music that you'll want to use will have copyright on those videos. So I'd say background music is a big thing. Just ensure that the background music doesn't drown out your actual speech.
That's very important.
I'd say, so that's the thing I think you get from editing a video or from getting someone who's done it before, is that I spend so much time lowering the video, lowering the music clip, hiring the speech to make sure there's a nice balance in between. Like I said, add your own personal pictures in, because I think that it gives a better insight into what you're like as a person outside of the classroom, not just what you're like as a teacher.
And that's really important. I'll pick up on that, because I think that's really important, because again, what's quite different with Wales English and other schools is that when you do your regular classes, you're teaching children that, if you're teaching them early age and beginner level, you can potentially be teaching them for several years, if they renew, because classes go on for 30 weeks. So it's really important that parents choose and the students can see, and they choose a teacher they feel will match up with their child. So you're right, it's super important to get your personality and your hobbies and all this sort of stuff, so they can feel a connection with you.
Definitely. And I think it's very important as well to explain why you like teaching, what you like about teaching, what you as a teacher, like you said, what you will do in your classes, what you like about teaching, how you're going to be as a teacher. So sort of a complete insight into what you're going to be like. And the thing that I always say to teachers when we're doing these videos is not to write a big, huge script. Because I feel with when you're, I think this is the most important thing. When you're starting out, a lot of teachers will write a huge paragraph that they will try to remember off by heart, and it's impossible. And it just seems so unnatural. I feel that the best way to start the recording of your video is to have bullet points and to remember that you're talking about yourself, not somebody else. It's not something you have to revise. These are you as a teacher. These are your teaching experiences, and these are things that you should know. A lot of the time teachers will be like, I have been teaching for 5 years, and it just seems unnatural. So I find that if you have bullet points maybe above your screen, things that you're going to talk about, it just helps the video flow. And if you are editing it, the advantage that you do have is that you can edit out all these awkward pauses that might occur during your video. So I would recommend having bullet points, going sentence by sentence, not to keep it too long-winded, just to focus on the points that you'd like to make and keep your sentences short.
Yes, and use relatively simple language, because they may not have great English. Parents. It's got, that again is
obviously not all. Obviously not all the parents, but obviously there's hundreds and hundreds of students that are going to be watching this video. I feel like you sort of need to cater for everybody.
Absolutely. I think that's really, really great advice, Danny. I'm just wondering, are there any other things that we haven't thought about? Any other top tips that you'd like to give people who are delving into this slightly terrifying world of making a profile video?
Yeah, because it is difficult. It is a difficult thing to do. Like you mentioned earlier, preparation is the main thing. Have ready for you on paper or whatever it be on the computer, the things that you would like to talk about. Nice, easy bullet points to follow, so that you're not trying to revise a script. It can be natural. Ensure you're always using your props if you're going to be using them in your classes. Like I said earlier, talk about your hobbies. They want to know you as a person and not just as a teacher. And then practice your video several times. Don't expect it to be perfect in one clip. You have to keep going, keep smiling, practice again, make mistakes, record it again.
Yes.
And editing just frees this up for you, really. It gives you chances to make mistakes, and then you can use that part of the video and edit out any mistakes.
Yeah, that's such great advice.
And then obviously, obviously, if you don't have any editing advice, come to me, and I can do it all for you.
I was just going to ask you about that. So I will put down your contact details in the description box for anyone who is feeling like they might want to reach out to you, Danny. I'll put all your details there, and they can contact you directly.
Perfect.
Okay.
Yeah,
great. Well, I think, have we covered everything? I think we've covered everything. That was really useful. I wish I'd known all of this when I did mine. I really do.
Well, it's just a very difficult thing to do. And like I said, if anybody does need any help, it is a paid service, but it's only a small fee. If even, for example, with Wales English, you got one extra class from it, within the month, the money would be made back. And obviously then you'll be teaching these students for another 30 or so weeks.
Plus weeks, wouldn't you? Yeah, absolutely. And it really makes a difference, doesn't it, with the schedule? You know, I clearly saw lots of teachers I've spoken to who sing your praises. They've all said that their schedules have suddenly rapidly filled up. So thank you, Danny.
Thank you. And that's what I like to do. I don't really advertise myself very often. Now and then I put a little post to say I can help people, but usually it's word of mouth. And there's been a lot of teachers at Wales English that have recommended me to other people. So thank you for recommending me. It is appreciated.
I know. Well, it's because you do it so well, Danny. Thank you so much. I really, really appreciate this. And well, I'll see you on the Facebook page fairly soon, I'm sure. Great. Thanks so much. Okay, I'll see you next time.
No problem at all.
Bye.
See you soon. Bye.
So there you have it. Danny in all his glory. Isn't he great? So please feel free, as I said, to reach out to Danny. His information is below. If you're thinking of applying to Wales English and haven't done so yet, I would love to coach you through the process. So my details are below as well. And don't forget to like the video if it was useful. And please subscribe so you get notifications of other work that's coming up this way. So have a fantastic day, everyone, and I'll speak to you soon. Bye.